So, how's your day going today?
I'm sitting in the back of Google's self-driving car in San Francisco. This is not coming soon, it's actually here, with the app just opening up to the public.
My favorite feature on this new self-driving car around San Francisco is...
And it's everywhere around San Francisco, impossible to go 5 minutes in this city without seeing one. It's also being used in Los Angeles and Arizona too.
The best part, you don't need to tip.
Companies have poured billions of dollars to get to this moment. Millions of jobs will be lost to AVs. That's autonomous vehicles.
All right, let's see us go through this intersection.
But I have so many questions I need answers to.
Uber is suspending its self-driving car operations.
A self-driving car being pulled over by police in San Francisco.
Waymo driverless car clipped a bicyclist. Another crash involving Waymo.
Who is liable when a self-driving car crashes into someone? Can these cars be hacked? And what happened in a Chinese city where these cars have already become the norm?
So there have been reports about people actually taking Waymos late at night and having sex in the vehicles because there is no human, so anything can go, right? That's probably not a good idea because there are cameras everywhere in this vehicle. Even when you call support, the first thing they're gonna do is look at you and see you in real time. So can you see us right now?
We have cameras situated across the vehicle.
Download the Waymo app and it's just like ordering an Uber, except it's not.
So I can already see it. It has my initials on it. Wow, it even stops for me. If this was a human driver, I could have just said, hey, it's me, and gotten in, but it's not that smart. So the only way to actually open the door is actually on the app. All right, so now I'm gonna hit unlock. And it also says the car will only wait up to a couple minutes, and then there's a timer. So let's get in, let's test this out.
I'm just calling because I received the notification from the vehicle. I'm just checking, is everything all right?
Yeah, everything is fine. My friend was just getting in the car and we're ready to start. All good.
Thank you for confirming that. If there's nothing else.
Are you in San Francisco?
The call has been routed to a satellite, one of Waymo's satellite offices.
Oh, I see. So can you see us right now?
Yeah, we have cameras situated across the vehicle just to make sure that we have a good view of the riders.
Thank you so much. Have a great day. I'm gonna hit start ride. Oh my God, this is so crazy. We just pulled into oncoming traffic and there's no human in the seat. And it's like crazy. My brain is going crazy right now. This is absolutely insane. And on top of all that, they play ambient music right when you get in, maybe to calm you down, but it's kind of working. Those first few minutes of riding as a passenger without a driver is crazy. It feels actually terrifying. We're going into the center of the intersection without a human, and never in your life have you done something like this. Your brain is telling you, don't do this. But after probably 5 or at most 10 minutes, the opposite has occurred with me. I actually feel like I really trust this thing, maybe even more than a human driver, which is crazy to say, but that's kind of what's happening. I mean, you see how eloquently it navigates, you see all the data it has, and you kind of get really comfortable riding in this, and you can kind of start to see how quickly self-driving cars have the potential to take over the world. No way. Wow. You know, you would think it would go kind of slow and precautious, but it actually drives like a human driver, which is good. You don't want it to be too slow or timid. You gotta kind of be a little bit bold when you drive. Otherwise, that could cause disturbances or accidents. And at all times, you can see whatever is within a perimeter of you. Way in front, way to the left. Like, it's actually fascinating that it can know how many cars are to the left. Look at this car, it's stuck in the middle of the intersection, but that doesn't stop us from going. We even maneuvered around it a little bit. It's also super interesting. So you know how sometimes you're sitting at a red light and you're getting a little impatient, so you ease your foot off the brake just a little bit before it goes green? This car does that, and there's no practical reason for it to do that, but my guess is it's doing that to mimic human behavior. Whether you're driving or sitting in the passenger seat, that's what we do as humans. The experience is meant to feel like you're with a human. Oh, it knows it needs to go to the right lane, so it's trying to decide when it can actually feasibly do that. It seems a bit stressed. So you see that? It's like we need to go to the right. Wow, this is crazy. We're not even fully in the lane because the bus was like kind of coming into our lane. So we kind of maneuvered out without hitting that guy. It's actually really fascinating. This thing is extremely smart.
Waymo has huge ambitions. It's expanding fast with more than 700 cars on the road, and 300 of them are here in San Francisco.
This is one of the many parking lots where Waymos will come to charge. And what's really cool is that they know to charge themselves. If their battery is low, they just stop what they're doing, head over to a charging station, and come and charge up.
Waymo is now testing out vans known as Zeekr, which is more spacious and it could help people get around one day. But it also still faces a ton of challenges, like people vandalizing its cars or putting cones in front of them and around them just to mess with the vehicles and prevent them from doing their job. Google is not the only company in this space. See, Uber once saw autonomous vehicles as the future of transportation. They spent over $1 billion in developing self-driving technology, aiming to disrupt the ride-sharing industry, and the goal was clear: replace human drivers with AI.
By the way, if you're enjoying this video, subscribe to this channel because I'm making more videos just like this about tech, economics, and more.
But in 2018, an Uber autonomous vehicle struck and killed a pedestrian in Arizona.
A self-driving car hitting and killing a woman. It is a first right here on our Valley Street.
That brought the challenges and risks into focus. See, the crash involved a Volvo SUV that had Uber's self-driving system. There was a human safety driver behind the wheel, but they weren't paying close attention to the road and the pedestrian died. The driver was ultimately charged with negligent homicide and would even be given jail time. In 2021, Uber sold its self-driving division to Aurora for a crazy $4 billion. Today, Uber still has an interest in autonomous vehicles, but it's taking a more cautious approach. And then there's Cruise. Cruise is a self-driving car company that was founded in 2013, but then acquired by GM in 2016 for a reported $1 billion. The company's valuation is in the billions now, and Cruise has made huge strides in autonomous vehicle technology. But it's also faced challenges, including a suspension of operations in October 2023 after its cars got into too many accidents. Cruise recently got to resume public road testing.
So when you do something like take off your seatbelt in the middle of the ride, a voice comes on and says, hey, put on your seatbelt, this is for your safety. And if not, we may call for a human to come and check in on you and see what's going on. And it's kind of reminds me of like being reprimanded by a teacher, like, hey, if you don't follow the rules, the principal is gonna come. All right, but how does this actually work from a technology standpoint?
Self-driving cars use sensors, cameras, and smart software to drive themselves on road. See, cameras see lanes, traffic lights, and other cars, while radar measures distances and finds things in the way. The software takes all this info and decides how to steer, speed up, and slow down, just like a good human driver would. These cars also connect to the internet and use GPS to find their way. This helps them get real-time traffic news, know about road conditions, and even talk to other cars or traffic signals. See, being online helps them make better decisions and work more efficiently.
So there's a fire truck or an ambulance.
And in emergencies, they can even react to signals or ambulances or police cars that move out of the way or stop safely. All these features make self-driving cars smarter and better at handling the changes on the road.
We had a fire truck coming by and it just pulled over very eloquently and said, hey, we gotta yield to this emergency vehicle. Okay, so it says finding a spot to pull over.
Governments around the world are trying to figure out the best rules for these special cars. And one big question is, who is responsible if a self-driving car crashes? Is it the car company? Is it the software makers? Or the person who owns the car? The person who was sitting in that Uber self-driving car was supposed to be monitoring. But what happens when there is no human in the car?
It's really impressive that it can even navigate a very narrow two-way street where it's very difficult for two cars to be on the same street. So it doesn't always technically follow the rules exactly. Like, it will go on to another lane. But if you think about it, so do humans, so that's probably a good thing.
In the US, regulations on self-driving cars are overseen by NHTSA at the federal level. It gives guidelines for automated driving systems, and they focus on ensuring safety for these vehicles. But these regulations are still developing, and states also have their own set of rules too.
It's really fascinating the vision it has. Like, you see the things that it can see up ahead or on the left or right, and it's like, how can the cameras detect that there's a person so far up ahead on the left, or down the road that there's like a garbage truck coming, things like that. It's really fascinating. So what does this mean for the future of drivers?
Let's look to Wuhan in China that has self-driving cars everywhere. So these are done by Baidu, and 5 years ago, I actually saw them testing these and got to ride one.
So we're making turns and notice, just like a roller coaster, no hands.
By the end of the year, there will be 1,000 of these cars on the streets of Wuhan. With China's insanely fast adoption of new technology, this is expected to cause huge changes. See, these rides here can be as cheap as 50 cents, and many people are already saying they will never need to buy a car again. again. Meanwhile, one person commented on a viral video that driving schools, road inspectors, and taxis are all going to shut down. The rise of self-driving cars could have big effects on jobs in the economy. See, it's bringing in new jobs in engineering and computer science, but at the same time, it will mean way fewer jobs for truck drivers and taxi drivers. Self-driving cars could also help the economy by cutting down on traffic jams and letting people use their time more efficiently. But to make these benefits happen, we'll need to invest a lot in things like roads and city planning and just the general adoption of new technology.
So this is a bit frustrating. I just ordered this car, but I can't communicate and say, hey, it's me. It says, no, the pickup is over there. So I gotta move out of the way so he can go, and then I have to walk and get in the car. Maybe the next version of it is gonna have facial recognition or something, so it can be like, hey, it's Uptin. Oh God, don't make me walk up this hill. Ugh. All right, I am not gonna tip. So now it's saying, hey, we'll wait for 2 minutes. It's time to get in the car. It's actually quite dystopian to see these driving cars without humans inside them. On the backdrop of San Francisco, which has such a crisis of mental illness and homeless people, it's really, really weird to see something like so much from the future, but then the city is struggling with this big crisis and this big problem. And same with Los Angeles too, which also has Waymo now. Something I find quite interesting is that the digital screen on the top of the Waymos can actually be used for anything. So it says my initials before I get in. So I can be sure that, hey, this car is for me. The screen on top of the car, sometimes if the Waymo is at a stoplight or a red light, it'll just show a pedestrian. Now, why is it doing that? It's actually serving a purpose and providing value to, let's say, people behind the car or either other pedestrians on the street. It's saying, hey, this car has stopped because there's a pedestrian in front of it. And that's really cool when you think about it, because right now cars, you know, when you put on your brakes, there's red lights to inform the person behind you, hey, I'm slowing down, so you better slow down too. But now you think about what screens can do for the future of driving and actually provide potentially more value. Now, how important is that? That's probably up for debate. It can be a little bit annoying, like we pulled into the parking lot and it's like, all right, I want to go into this building, let me out. It doesn't understand voice commands, so it kind of went through the whole parking lot, made a right turn, and now it's letting me out. So sometimes little things like that might be a little frustrating. But what happens if you stand in front of a self-driving car? Will it honk? Will it move? What's it gonna do? For every second I stand here, it's actually costing the company money, because this is a moment that it could be used to pick up other passengers. My cameraman is also blocking the other lane. So let's just see how smart this thing is. I'm actually surprised it hasn't honked yet. It might be calling rider support. So it's been a few minutes now. Okay, you win. So now you know what the future of self-driving cars is gonna look like, but I wanna know, what do you think? Is this a future, and how is it gonna impact jobs and the economy? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe.